Welcome to the Redacted Apostate. My name is Nicole. I was raised in a cult, and I like to talk about all things cults.
My name is Carl, and I am married and living to someone that is in a or was in a cult, and I like talking about cults.
Yeah. So today we are going to delve into, because we're not AI.
Not AI.
We're just two old people talking.
No, we are not.
Anytime I hear the word delve, I hit a dislike
Right,
on
yeah,
YouTube now.
Yeah, and what's really bad is there are some other YouTube channels that say delve a lot, but they're not AI. It really bothers me.
I think that's where the AI models picked it up because
Yeah.
they use the word delve a lot. And it's
Yeah.
like, I hate that word now.
Yes, yeah. There's a few words that AI uses a lot.
Delve is one of them.
And delve is one of them.
And if you say, we're going to delve into it, it's like, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm done.
I already know you're not.
Yeah. So it's okay if you hit dislike on this. I get it. The word sucks. I hate the word. But today I want to talk about the Zizians.
I'm sorry, what?
The Zizians. You know about the Zizians because you texted me them last week and said.
I didn't actually know their name. So the where it came up on my radar was like a news feed, like a news feed aggregate kind of thing, and in it said techno murder cult.
Yeah,
and that was it.
It's a techno murder cult,
something like that.
Interesting.
I think I'm paraphrasing.
No. I think it's right. It's right.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that's what they said. I think that's what I gathered from the little bit of information that was in it.
The media coverage of this has been very light, which is kind of shocking, and we'll get into that. But the way the media has been naming these people is techno murder cult. That's good. Trans extreme veganism death cult.
Right now, so
extreme vegan death cult. Trans extreme deep vegan death cult. It's a lot.
Okay, so when you say trans, though, do you mean trans as in gender identity, or do you mean trans and as like transhumanism?
I think specifically the media is saying transgender, but they also believed in transhumanism. They were transhumanists also.
Right, because I do know that the only thing that I gathered from it was that one of the members was transgendered, and that was kind of all I.
No, I think more than just the leader was transgender.
No, but specifically because this was only about the leader.
Oh, okay.
That this was a reference to.
Yeah.
So the information, like you said, was very light in this. I was expecting to get like tons of information, and when you're saying stop reading, I'm like, I've already read the whole thing and I know nothing.
Yeah, it's really confusing, and it's confusing in the way that Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell was confusing, because they had committed murders all over the country.
Right.
And so it was really hard to follow. It was okay, well, what is happening? Who are these people?
Ohio, Arizona, like where
yeah, Hawaii.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, what is going on with these people? And in the same way as they were very confusing to follow at first, this group is very confusing to follow, because death seems to follow them wherever they go, and they seem to cause chaos wherever they go.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So it's really hard to follow. And also because the media has a hard time following it. We'll link in the show notes the article from Wired. Wired actually has a really good article about these, because I think the reporter from Wired has been following them even before this recent series of events happened.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed with mainstream media is their difficulty with following cults in general, because a lot of people don't want to. If you speak badly about a cult, you're kind of speaking badly on freedom of religion, and it's one of the reasons why cults thrive in the United States and other countries is the absolute freedom of religion. So if you are to show that a religion is dangerous is a high bar, you
Well,
know.
this
This
is
one is, but yeah,
this is not a religion, and this is
it probably is to the people that are involved.
I don't know. The more that I read about the Zizians, the more they feel like who's the guy with the swastika on his head?
Um,
Charlie Manson.
Charlie Manson.
It feels like the Manson family. It really does. So the level of media coverage over the Manson family still continues to this day. I
Right.
mean, we have movies that are constantly, TV shows that are constantly created about the Manson family. And this group feels very reminiscent of the Manson family. And the Manson family, they had weird, like he said, he was Jesus, but it wasn't really religious. It was more like drug induced.
Yes, yes. Where I talk about this being a religion, I think there is something to that with this group. And it is something that I've been kind of getting whiffs of, kind of in the zeitgeist of like our society right now, which is, there are a lot of people that are in, these large technology companies that view technology as almost a new form of religion.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard about this, the first thought I had was, the Zuckerbergs, the Musks,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and those individuals, because they're actually is this kind of you don't know if it's conspiracy or not, right? But that they actually have meetings where they discuss technology as the new religion for the modern age.
So what it's called, the
Yeah.
what you just described is called extreme rationalism.
Right.
That's what it's called.
Exactly. That is the word that they use for that group, Zuckerberg and Musk and all of that.
Exactly. And that's what this group was part of.
Yeah.
And they were all math and tech people. In fact, one of the things I heard through all the research, and we're like, this is just happening within the last few months of all this kind of coming to light, was that one of them was a quant and was making $500,000 a year based on mathematical science.
Right. So let's talk about what a quant is to, maybe people that are watching that don't understand it. So quant is someone that is doing mathematical quantification. So they view numbers in a different way than other human beings do. A lot of them are in the financial markets.
And if they're making that much money, they're working off of Wall Street. They're working in
they're
stocks.
dealing with billions of dollars of money, and they're making probably billions of dollars. So, and actually, due to quants is the reason why we build computer systems for the stock market that are fast. Is it's not because they need a computer system to do any mathematical computation. It's because they need the computer system to be able to instantly take what they say and turn it into action within the nanosecond.
Because a half a second could lose millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yep. So these guys are watching the numbers real time. If the computer system takes half a second, then you've lost 10, $20 million.
Right.
So they have to be, when you put in that order, it is done within nanoseconds. Yeah.
So it's really hard to know what's true, what's not true.
Mhm.
But I think the bottom line was all this group of people felt technologically advanced. They probably were all neurodivergent in some way or the other. They felt connected to each other. They all believed in ethical veganism and extreme veganism.
Well, they had me until that point.
And they felt that they were transgender, I guess. I don't know.
It could also...
Some of them did.
So a lot of I do know, and this is from the 20,000 foot overview, that transhumanism and transgenderism is, they're linked together.
Oh, really? I don't know that.
So the idea is that with transhumanism, you're basically going above, and I'm sure that anybody that is a transhumanist will correct me if they ever watch this. But
we're just people talking about.
I'm just talking.
We're just talking. We don't know shit. We're just talking. We're just talking.
But transhumanism is the idea that we go beyond our own bodies. It's not making human bodies like better. It's that we can transcend our human bodies. We can go past any of the capabilities that our human bodies would be able to exist.
Okay.
So
Well, what this group believed was that the brain was cut into two sides, and one side was masculine, one side was feminine, and
that's an old belief.
they could access both sides of their brains,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were both genders, and they could be men or women, and that's kind of the idea that I'm getting. A lot of them worked, and I think when I say a lot of them, we're talking like 10 people maybe.
Yeah.
It's really hard because they don't have much of an online presence. Now, the leader of this group, their name was Jack Amadeus Lasota.
Is that the real name?
Yeah, Jack Amadeus Lasota. And this Jack, and I can imagine this person's parent was like, no, was like a computer science teacher. Jack Amadeus Lasota actually interned at NASA, but I used to work with somebody who interned at NASA that was like dumber than a fucking doorstop.
Yeah.
So like,
well, they never went from an internship.
Exactly. And that's what I said. So like she put on her resume that she had interned at NASA, and I was like, she interned but was never hired,
Right.
Because she was dumber than a freaking doorstop, but she still kept that on her resume years later.
Right.
And everyone was like, "Ooh, she interned at NASA."
Which means that she had, she had a relative that worked at NASA and got her into the internship.
And then she was so stupid she couldn't like think her way out of it. Oh my God.
Hard pass.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I don't get the impression that these individuals were stupid. I think that they just were completely disenfranchised, and they probably started with the idea of they wanted to improve the lives of animals if they're extreme veganists. And
I'm just thinking of a Simpsons line. Sorry, I'm a level 3 veganist.
Right.
I don't eat anything that casts its own shadow.
Right. Exactly. And so this individual, Jack Amadeus Lasota, Ziz, came out as their leader. But I bet you if you talk to each one of them individually, they would say, no. That what we call this is just the media spinning the way it is. Or I don't know. It's really, this group is tough. And
that might be why it's not put out as being like a cult. You know what I mean? Like
no,
labeled. No, not labeled by the media.
The media is labeling these guys as a cult. Oh, absolutely. They are labeled as a cult. But the media it's not national news. It's kind of like where the Zizians have attacked people, that's where it's news, but it's not at the national, not the way that, I'm just looking at what that cat is into.
He's not in anything. He's sleeping on the amplifier because it's warm.
Okay. The media coverage over, how come I keep blanking on his name? The swastika guy. Charles Manson.
Think of Marilyn Manson.
The Manson family. I mean, the coverage of the Manson family was like intense.
Yeah.
But maybe it's who the Mansons murdered as opposed to who the Zizians have murdered.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe that's, I don't know, but it's still just as shocking to me who the Zizians have murdered.
Well, well, do you want to go down that road?
Allegedly. They just got arrested literally like within the week.
Yeah. That's the news that I saw was that the Zizou was arrested.
Zizou.
I'm not going to remember the name, and I don't care to remember the name.
Yeah.
So
we don't care what NASA technocrats, cult leaders think.
Right on birth certificates. All right. So who be Zizou and who be he killing?
So I don't know if, based on the reporting, if Zizou has ever killed anyone. I don't know. Like,
so it really is like Manson.
Yeah, exactly. But
Manson was too lazy to actually kill someone. So.
he really
Yeah,
was.
he was a dick.
He really was.
Yeah.
And I get the impression that this Lesotho person is very similar to Manson
Right.
and was using drugs and was spouting off all this stuff to people.
I bet if they ate a hamburger, they would have enough energy to get up and kill someone.
Probably, and that maybe that's what is happening. I don't know. So within the week, 3 people were just arrested as part of this cult, and Jack Lesotho was arrested also. But Jack Lesotho has been arrested several times and let go. So
good lawyers, maybe?
No.
Oh.
There's more to this story going on. And what's really weird, okay, I'm just going to step back a little bit and not really talk about this cult.
Are we going to get real here?
We're getting real here.
Oh my God.
No, we're not getting real. We're just getting like, this is how we normally talk when we're not in front of a camera. And so we're just, because we really didn't talk about this at all.
Yeah.
So this is kind of our real conversation.
Ooh,
as meandering. The climate that we're in is so anti-transgender.
Mm-hmm.
From the media is very anti-transgender and very much like using people's wrong pronouns, using, all kinds of stuff. Just a lot of hate towards the transgender community.
Or if they do show it, it's almost a spectacle.
Yeah. The whole bathroom garbage that people are using to be elected when none of that really matters. Like it just seems like a lot of fluff for politicians to get people riled up.
Yep.
Like that's the new group for people to hate. And I'm thinking, here is this group of transgender individuals. Why has the media not picked up on this and been like, here's this transgender murder cult? Why?
Well, it's because
you
it's not
would think
a DEI cult. If it was a DEI cult, then
you think if they were people of color, it would be
no, it's not just people
different?
of color, women too. I mean, because a transgendered, so he's a man, so he can take the job. Sarcasm.
I don't get it. What I don't get about this is you would think in this political...
Where's the hate?
This group would be held as this, like recently we live in...
Of hate, yeah.
Exactly.
No,
we live in Georgia where a woman was murdered brutally by an illegal immigrant. And that was held up as one of the reasons to vote for this administration was because of that situation. The one situation out of a bunch of other situations, that was the one thing that was held up for illegal immigration. Got it? And you would think in this case, you've got a transgender murder cult. Why is there not the media spectacle around it? That's the cat moving the camera. That is not us. The cat literally jumped where the camera is, and you can see us bobbling up and down.
And now he's a jerk. Yeah, I do hear you, and the only thing that I can think of is that its location.
Because they're all over. Because it's not San Francisco. No. So what you're going to learn from this, this is not San Francisco. These people started in San Francisco, and their first run-in with the law was in San Francisco and Berkeley in the Bay Area. But then they kind of went all over. Now, Jack Lesotho is originally from Alaska.
Wow.
And then moved to the Bay Area to work in technology, but couldn't find their place in technology.
Right.
And I think working for a tech company as a transgender person probably is not easy because it is still, decades later, is still bro culture. Yeah. It's bro culture, programming. Blah, blah,
well, I think it changes.
We love Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Well,
but it's still that way.
No, but I think it changes. I think with most tech companies, it really starts as just whoever can get the job done, right? Like they don't care. It's just those late nights, getting the job done. And then what happens is that it evolves into
bro culture, bro grammars.
Especially whenever, the CEO starts doing what's the horse?
Ketamine.
They start doing ketamine, and then they broify the company, and then then they will clean up house and be like, only men can work here.
Yeah, I mean, because normally it's like I'm the only woman on a team,
right?
and it's okay because I'm used to those bro dudes, but it's very
Yeah, you live
much
with one, so
yeah, a bro dude. I imagine being a transgender individual in a traditional tech
yes,
company would be difficult,
yeah,
especially now that, like you said, DEI is kind of off the table.
yeah. Well,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
even off the table. It's been vilified
Right.
as being the the it's immigration. It's immigrants, and if this person wasn't like truly American, like
No, they're
seventh generation Latino or something
no,
like
they're
that.
American. All these people
So
are American.
they're like
Oh,
Irish.
except one German. There's one German dude.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
American.
person.
That's
Sorry.
American. You know.
They're okay.
Yeah, as long as you came from Europe, American.
I don't understand. Okay, so
That's
this is the culture. This
yeah.
is the political climate we're in. This is the
Oh,
news
we're getting
media we're
political
in.
here.
And why has this cult not reached
Yeah,
national media attention? It
yeah,
should be on our local news about the Zizians, the way that the Manson family, or even the way Lori Vallow was. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell were on national
yeah,
news.
yeah.
It wasn't a local thing.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so if I go through, because you brought up geography, where they were. So they started out in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I think they met through this vegan, trans, humanist, extreme rationalism group of people.
Right.
But then they became too extreme for them. And so they splintered off and created their own Zizian group. And
Yeah.
it was in person, and it was these group of people living together, and they tried to get a boat. They wanted to live on a boat, but I mean they're all technology
Wait,
nerds. So
wasn't that the plot of like a Silicon Valley episode where
I
the guy had an oil rig or a
probably
boat
probably
that he like fitted out to like live on? I wonder if that was
I don't know.
kind of an homage to that
I
group.
don't know. I don't know. But these are
Holy crap.
people that probably don't know how to start a fire or bake bread, or like, they're technology nerds, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to be on the TV show alone. Well, maybe Ziz was, because Ziz grew up in Alaska. I don't know. Maybe that's what made Ziz special.
Yeah.
But you can grow up in Alaska and be an inbound nerd and never go outside also,
Right.
because the weather's too bad.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Anyway, they got this boat. They sunk the boat because they're probably not very good
At
boating,
real things.
like other than quanting.
Oh my.
I mean, there's a place. That's the thing, is there's a place in this world for highly skilled mathematicians and technologists.
Yes.
We have a place for them,
Yes. But it's
but
not.
it's not on a boat.
Yeah, not growing crops.
It's not baking bread and creating your own sourdough.
No. They're gonna stir up. They're gonna change the landscape of bread baking by automating the system through AI. You know.
Great. That would be great. That's better than murder. I could get behind that. I could get behind extreme vegans creating their own brand of sourdough and going to town on AIing the crap out
They
of
tried to
this.
do that with. They tried to do that with the juice. The tech companies tried to make the new juicing at home solution, and they couldn't even make orange juice properly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at, is the fact that you can
But at
math
least-
this and science this all you want to, but until you actually make a product that is good, it's all words.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with boating, right?
But it's better than murder.
Is it though?
Take a hobby. Sourdough. You can be an extreme vegan with sourdough.
Learn to canoe.
Something.
Take some classes, real classes, not YouTube channel videos or Wikipedia pages.
Some real classes on how to make sourdough bread. So they started in the Bay Area. They got the boat. They sunk the boat. So then they moved in on this guy's land. They became just kind of squatters on this guy's land.
Do we know the area? Like, is this in California?
It's in California, and
Okay.
I'm thinking it's around Vallejo, but
So
I
they're like, well, this whole water thing didn't really work. Let's try land this time.
yeah,
Okay.
try land.
Okay.
So some guy lets them squat in a bus or something
Wow.
on his land. And then he's like, "You people are not paying me money. You said you would pay money and you're not paying me money, and you need to get off the land." So they attacked him with a samurai sword. But he fought back and he shot one of them and killed one of them. So he killed one of the Zizians, and then they left him blind. And then the rest of the Zizians were going to go to court for basically the murder of one of their cult members, because they put them in that situation to be murdered.
Right.
And so they're kind of accomplices, I think, is the law. I don't know the law.
Yeah.
And this landowner was going to go to court to testify against them. But the landowner had been attacked pretty brutally with a samurai sword.
Yeah.
And was starting to decline in health. And so he went to the DA and said, "My health is starting to decline. I need to move up this trial.
Yeah.
Because if we don't,
they're going to get away.
I may not be around
Yeah.
it." And then the next week, he was stabbed. He was murdered. And so they had nobody to testify against these Zizians. Oh, that was the first instance, I think. And then one of the members of the Zizians came from a semi-well-to-do family. And I don't know the name of those individuals. Looking through here. Hold, please. You had the wrong hold music. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right. Because I think it's important to know the names of. Yeah. So in December of 2022, Rita and Richard Zako were shot and killed in their home. And the Ring camera caught someone screaming, "Mom," and then, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." Mm-hmm. And Rita and Richard Zako's daughter is named Michelle, and they think Michelle was involved in this murder, but it was very clearly the Zizians that were involved, right, because the Zakos had money, and that person, Michelle, would have inherited that money. So it was a way to get money. Wow. They killed the parents.
Yeah, and which is really weird, because the group of people, if they could just hold the job, would make a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a talented quant, no one cares what you look like. Right. You could be a freaking troll in a basement, and no one cares.
Actually, that's what they prefer.
Yeah.
If you don't have a social life and don't get out, and you just quantin.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the money there, but
all I can think of is like Quado.
Yeah. Quado the quant.
Open your mind.
Do the numbers.
It's actually how I imagine most quants to be. It's like a little Quado on it.
Yeah.
In someone's stomach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry if you're a quant out there. I really.
No, there's somebody watching this. This is just us talking.
That's true.
All right, so
like quants are going to care about this.
Yeah.
You're not talking about numbers. You're stupid.
Yeah. All right. So
they stab a guy they attack a guy with a samurai sword, which that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of them dies. They then allegedly murdered him. Now, was this one on this was like on a San Francisco street? I think the guy that was stabbed.
Okay.
That's the one I
yeah, that makes sense.
I think I heard about that one. Like he was crossing the road and then got stabbed. And then you got Michelle's parents who were shot.
Yep.
and killed
Hmm.
for allegedly or we're assuming the money.
Right, for money. Yeah.
And but it's also weird too that Michelle was like involved, but also yelling no. So there has to be something there to that, like
Yeah, there's a whole lot missing.
coercion and
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff missing here.
yeah. Because typically, when you see members of like a cult that are killing family members, They're like, yeah, we're gonna do this because this makes sense.
Hmm.
This doesn't seem to be that way. Almost like out of desperation. It's a weird movement, is what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What brought all this to attention, and I think there's some other people that have ended their lives also
Hmm.
as uh, connected to this cult. But then what happened was the group was arrested, let go, like kind of a bunch of
Yeah.
different times. And then they were on the border in Vermont.
Okay. Wow.
And it was the one woman and the German person.
Right.
And they got into a shootout with a Border Patrol agent.
A Vermont Border Patrol agent?
Yeah.
Like, were they trying to steal maple syrup or something? Like, what?
I don't know. See, like the whole thing, like these like everything feels so disconnected right now.
Yeah.
And that's why the lack of media attention on this is
Really weird.
really bizarre, because you've got California, then you have Pennsylvania, and then now you've got
Vermont Border
Vermont
Control.
Border Patrol. So you get into a shootout, and the Border Patrol agent is murdered, and he shoots one of the Zizians. So far, 2 Zizians have been killed,
Right.
and then
And they've killed
4 civilians,
4 civilians.
non-Zizians. They've killed 4 non-Zizians.
Jeez.
And so that's 6 people altogether that have lost their lives around this cult. Again, it's like this Manson meets Lori Vallow story.
But worse, because these people seem really inept.
Because they're trolls.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least Manson had purpose, right? Like, killed. He did. He had a whole idea about, the piggies and, the people that he attacked were the people that didn't like his music or didn't sign him for the record label.
Uh-huh.
And that's why he went after them. I mean, there was a purpose to this.
This is just so random. You're
Yeah.
right. This is so random.
Yeah.
And
That's what I mean. It's like inept. It's like they just go, oh, you didn't pay us for the land. It's like, well, hey, one of you could get a job and pay this guy for the next 50 years.
they probably owed him like a couple $1,000.
That's what I mean.
Nothing. Yeah.
Or let's say it was $20,000. Let's say it was $100,000, which I don't see that happening. But let's just say it was that. Well, one of these people could get a job and be like, okay, here you go. Easy. You got quants that are, they could do the stock market for like a month and make enough money to pay them. So it's just like, these people are like, nah, no thanks. We'll just, hey, I got a sword. It's super cool.
I
can't. It's just, I'm just imagining the guy that had the sword. And all I can think of is that he was like the comic book store owner from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Have you seen their pictures?
No, I have not.
All right. So we'll flash the pictures on the screen here.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, because it is exactly what you think.
Wow.
Those are the ones that were arrested 3 days ago. Those 3. We'll put on the screen what they look like. They look exactly like you would imagine they would look.
So there's often times that we discuss people, and I'm just like, hey, he's a very manly person, right? Like, actually, has there been any cult member that we've talked to that are talked about
manly?
Yeah, that looks masculine. I mean, I guess Andrew Tate would be the only one that would even be close to that. But these people, I'm like, I am the image of manliness compared to the pictures we're showing here. I'm a testosterone fueled god.
Gosh. Well, these individuals, they look like vegan trolls.
Yep.
They look like vegan trolls that would hide behind a Guy Fawkes mask
On a keyboard
on a keyboard,
and be shouting to the ether.
right?
Let's talk about the trolls.
Yeah. So look at this is a picture
Yeah.
from one of the individuals. He's got a T-shirt on that says, "My password is the last 8 digits of pi." Great T-shirt. Love it.
That's a really good one too.
But I think about, I don't know if we can, I think this is behind a paywall. So yeah. I think so there's two sides of this story. Why would someone join the Zizian group? It's always a question I'm asked. I've been thinking about that for the last couple of days. What would draw someone to Ziz? And I feel like it's a good message. It's if you feel you're super smart, you're into trans or what would they call that, extreme rationalism. You don't have an affinity towards religion. You're good at math, but you don't have a lot of friends.
Not just math, but also I would say logic and intelligence as a virtue.
Yeah. And you feel disenfranchised. You can't find a job because you're different.
And you tell everybody you're different.
Right.
Constantly.
Right.
I can imagine those guys in a room would be like
annoying to work around.
Really annoying to work around.
Especially if they're radical vegans. That means they're preaching their veganism to everyone, and no one wants to be around a preacher.
Yeah. They're the kind of people that won't allow food like meat in the refrigerator because they can sense it. I worked for those people before.
Right. And they won't allow someone around them who eats meat.
Right.
And so how can you work in a corporate environment if you have those belief systems? And then also you feel not entirely masculine, but you don't feel entirely feminine at the same time. So where does that leave you? Because society teaches, like you were just saying, society teaches you got to be manly. And here's this group of trolls that are getting this boat that obviously should not be on a boat. Like they should not be on a 4-wheeler. So
right.
What is...
Or maybe they should, to learn something. I mean, because that's how you actually learn something. But that's not them. That's not their mentality.
That's not who they are.
Right, exactly. So there would be no need for that.
And so you can see this group kind of forming, like why you would be drawn to someone like this.
The intelligent, technology forward individuals that have been ostracized by society.
And can see the danger of AI as it's coming. Like we can all see the danger as it's coming.
Well, we have an idea of the danger, right? Like we don't know what that is, but we can definitely see where it could lead.
Mm-hmm.
And
what it's lead us today is just a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
A bunch of bytes and zeros eating up carbon space.
Right. That's it. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
So the problem with people that are smart.
The problem with you is
that you be having is that
good thing we don't have this problem.
Yeah, no, I'm way past that. I'm so dumb. I like everybody.
The problem with people who are smart is,
but it actually gets touched upon on Rick and Morty a lot, which is that nobody likes people that are smart because it makes them uncomfortable, right? Because they show you all of your issues that you would have. Smart people have a tendency to point out everybody's issues around them, right? Because they want to show you how smart they are.
I think out of all of their annoyances of the Zizians, I think the extreme veganism is the most annoying.
Yeah.
That just would be.
And I don't have a problem with anybody that's vegan.
No.
I've worked with a lot of vegans before.
Me too.
And I can actually there's some. So I think I worked for a cult in Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and they were extreme veganism. So this is very similar. So they were a tech company that was extreme vegans to the point that they knew if there was meat in a container in the refrigerator, and it
Mm.
made them sick.
Yeah. They could feel its
They
presence.
could feel its presence.
Yeah.
And the other guy that wasn't part of this group, Tom, me and him would have lunch together and stuff like that. So he actually put, like, I remember this one time he put a styrofoam container and it said "Do not open steak" on there, and he put it in there, and then everybody started complaining. Well, thank you for writing that, but that makes me nauseous because it's next to my food.
Yeah.
And he opened it up and it was empty.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like,
He's just trolling
oh
the
god, he was such a big troller of
extreme veganist.
yeah of that. But like they knew that well, that styrofoam did touch it at one point, so we know that,
And they're going to tell you about it.
and constantly,
Maybe that's why they're not being covered in the national news. I just don't get why they're not. So my mind immediately goes to then they're government operatives. If they're not being covered in the national news the way that they should be, then are these individuals government operatives? Like
I,
my mind immediately goes there.
I don't think that's the issue. And the issue that I actually do think is that they probably had meetings with some of the other tech bros that are now managing our media. Yeah.
Ah,
Because
that makes more sense.
that's why I wanted to point up the Zuckerberg and the Musk thing,
Mm-hmm.
is because when I read it, the first thought that I had was about this. Wired also did, I think it was Wired, also did another. They were discussing the new religion of the technophiles,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to use tech bro because it's not just tech bros. It's a gambit of technology leaders that, and I think Bezos is part of that as
Well,
well.
Bezos owns several.
New York Times.
He owns the New York Times,
And we have X. So X is a media company and a news company.
and who knows? And who knows what the AP press is influenced by? So, you know what? I think that's exactly what has happened. Is this group is part of that rationalism group that all of those technocrats are members of, that own the media, and that's why we're not seeing this. So it's important for people like us to start talking about this story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're not going to get this coverage about this group of people by large media organizations. They may briefly touch on it, but not kind of the in-depth the way you saw around the Manson or Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell.
Right, exactly. And I think the big thing is that if you ever put your stake into one thing, then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. It's the Eckhart Tolle kind of thing, that whenever this becomes your identity, then when it fails you, your identity gets shattered and you start killing people. Not a direct correlation. He did not say that, but that is an outcome of that sort of thing. That if you're extreme veganism and that goes along with this concept of don't harm, no harm to anything, right? But when you can stab a human or shoot a human, then that puts it into the transhumanism thing, which is now we are beyond being human, right? So now we are above humans.
Right.
And we are intelligent. And that's what I was trying to get to with the point of smart people being able to look at other people's, you don't want to be around really intelligent people like this, because they will tell you all of your problems, because now they are above you. They are better than you.
Well, that's definitely this group. This group felt that they dehumanized anyone who ate meat, who was different than them.
And I have a feeling that's not really what they think. I think it's they don't dehumanize people; they humanize people.
And they're better
They
than,
are not. They are they are not.
they are
They're
not
on a different
human.
level than humans.
Yep, got it.
And that's kind of the dangers when I look at transhumanism, because there's a part of me that goes, okay, that's kind of cool, right? Because I love, sci-fi and that kind of stuff. And I've always said, like, the first time that they're going to do implants for the eyes to see better, I would probably do it,
Yeah.
right? And that's part of transhumanism is, like, how can technology make us better humans and make us evolve into something new,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if that's your kind of philosophy, then anybody that's left behind, the humans, are less than.
Right.
We are smarter than them. We're faster. We can see better, think faster. Can't pilot a boat, apparently.
But so they could kill humans, but they couldn't kill animals,
Right.
which is so interesting concept in a cult,
Right.
because technically humans are animals.
Right. But not when you are smart,
Yeah.
right? Because when you're smart, you rationalize. And if you're really smart, you do extreme rationalization.
Well, it's a cult. It's when you've got the cult leader that is telling the members what they want to hear. And that's that cognitive dissonance where, yeah, we don't eat meat because we're pious, but we can kill humans because they're different. That's cognitive
And
dissonance.
I actually, I will go out on a limb and say that the cult leader in this is not what you think it is.
And that's what I'm saying
Yeah,
too.
it's not a traditional cult leader.
I don't think so either. I think this group it's being reported on by the media in such a strange way, and such an inaccurate way. I can
Right.
tell very, very clearly that the information we're getting about them is very inaccurate. And I don't know if that's because of that rationalist group led by the technology leaders
Yeah.
that are putting out misinformation about this
Or
group,
no information.
or no information.
Yeah.
And then it's being written about. Like, there's a whole lot of obscurity. I was watching this other YouTuber who is a former police officer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was saying, I don't understand what is happening in the media about this group. Like, he couldn't figure it because he's an older gentleman. He couldn't figure it out. And I think we figured it out. It's the rationalist group, they own the media.
Yeah.
And we are being presented very minute, specific information or misinformation or no information about this group because of that.
Right.
Because of their links back to the rationalist organization.
Yeah.
Because immediately I thought, well, they're government operatives, but no.
I don't think that at all.
Yeah, no, and the whole quant industry, like all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to protect, because those, you can imagine that the people that are quants or, and again, I don't want to lump them all into this weird, ugly group, but that, let's say there's 1,000 quants in the world, which probably seems accurate.
Yeah. Like 1,000 super mathematicians.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
That seems like a lot, but
yeah. But then like there's 2 or 3 which are just horrible, horrible human beings.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to just fire because who you're going to replace them with.
Yeah. So
you deal with it. You deal with their, whether they be, like neo-Nazis or, a pedophile or, something like that. Or, so you kind of just, well, we have to keep this person because there's no replacing them sort of thing. So it could also be that too, where it's like, these are people we need, need in society or in our companies. So we'll do whatever it takes to make sure the message doesn't get out about them.
Maybe.
It's just a thought.
I don't think you can say the P word on YouTube. They call them PDF files. Other people.
PDF.
PDF files.
That's a weird name too. We're just going to get to the point where every word that has to mention them we can't say anymore. So
on YouTube, yeah. And probably like this video will get demonetized and completely like downgraded, but that's okay.
Yep.
Anyway, anything else?
Yeah.
It's a weird story.
It is a weird story.
There's lots of layers to this that we just don't know.
And I think that's part of the problem that I have with this. I still feel as soon as I started reading about them, it linked to 2 or 3 other groups that I've kind of got in the back of my mind. So I'm really curious where this is going to go. I honestly think here's my my crystal ball kind of looking into this is that the trial is going to happen. You're not going to hear much about it, and then you won't hear anything else after that.
I think they're going to plead.
Yeah,
I don't think there's going to be a trial.
But whatever. When I say trial, I mean it'll go through the justice system, and then that's it.
You won't ever hear about them.
Yep.
And yeah, not like the Manson. It's not going to. But
No.
they are like a modern day Manson family. So
yeah, pretty much.
They should have national attention and should be make movies about, and everyone should be talking about.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Wait until Netflix picks it up.
But I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know who owns Netflix. So
yeah,
it'll be a company that isn't owned by a technophile, or one of
corn cob TV, cob TV. I think you should leave. Yeah. So I'm really curious. Will this ever be a Netflix special, or because if it's not, then
Oki needs to pick it up.
I like Oki. Yeah.
It'd be something.
He's a good reporter.
Yeah, once Oki or another like it'd be an independent YouTuber, CoffeeZilla, or something like that picks it up.
But the thing is that all groups have crazies attached to them. Christians have crazy cults. Hindus have crazy cults.
Yep.
Muslims have crazy cults. All the groups have crazy cults. So if you're going to be a rationalist, you're going to have crazies attached to it. So at some point, it's just don't bury it, expose it, and realize, but that's not who we are.
Yeah, but then you have to talk about who we are.
Yeah.
And then you also then you'll start to understand too that these groups don't care about the people that work for them.
Oh yeah.
If you look at Uber and these companies are the ones that are developing the technology to get rid of the people that are developing the technology.
Yep.
All of them. So, and I'm pretty sure that is kind of one of the core tenets of this rationalism is that they want technology to replace humans. And I don't mean like we're going to get rid of all the humans, like we need to kill them off. I don't mean that at all. What I mean is for their idea of a perfect company is that they run computers that run the company that everybody buys the product.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So you have 10 people at the top and everything else is an AI system that is building code, is helping run the company, and you make all your money that way. Yeah. And that would be their utopia.
Yeah.
And then you don't have...
And that's what the Zizians... Yeah. That's what Zizians were railing against, is that exact thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's another part of this the layer to this cult that they were warning about the AI taking over.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of unknowns, but watch for it, keep an eye out for it, and we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was a fun one. I like that one. Yeah, they're crazy.
Yep.
I mean,
we'd be crazy.
Clinically.
All right. Thank you for watching. Think for yourself. Don't be sheep.